All right, should we talk about Christian and Hook?
No, no one should watch this or talk about it, is really my opinion, but go ahead.
Boy, howdy. I got to, in the spirit of trying to help a young man, we were going to see Christian versus Hook. Well, Christian enters with Nick Plain's mom. She's right along with him. And Hook jumps Christian on the ramp before he even gets, and the ramp, as I said, was 50 feet long. And they fight on the floor, and Christian goes to the entranceway leaving, and Hook brings him back, and Hook needs to work on his, I don't know if you call them strikes or just the punches and the chops. He has awkward shoulder and upper body movement where he puts you in mind more like he's trying to make an unnatural gesture and throw it and pull it rather than an actual real chop or punch or whatever. And I know maybe certainly somebody has said something to him before now, but I think he gets on, and the square footedness also, when he's just hammering on somebody, he's kind of hopping up and down. He needs to be more fluid. He needs to move a little smoother. And that would make his stuff look better. Maybe do a few less things and put more emphasis into each of what you are doing. But if his stuff looked better to the people, it would be a better visual disguise to his still thinness and lightness of weight and his greenness, because you see guys that are still somewhat green moving in the square-footed, squared-off shouldered manner that I'm talking about. And Christian, is trying to do a lot of same things Christian's always done. But there was, it was a fucking match. And finally, I got distracted, actually zoned out, whatever, but I don't know what they did the last couple minutes, but Hook got the choke. And all of a sudden, Pip Sabian and Nick Plain came in and got the disqualification. Remember when they wouldn't have a run-in and a DQ on a pay-per-view main event that could have led to a rematch in the early days, but now they'll just DQ random TV matches?
No bullshit finishes, no ref bumps. Those were the early days of AEW.
Well, that's before they found out that they couldn't go without them. Then they do too many of them at the wrong time. Anywho, they start to get heat on Hook, and they got a couple of chairs. And actually, you said Kenny was the most over guy on the show, and I will acquiesce to you that. But I think the highlight moment that got the biggest pop was when Taz stood up and was about to, I'm not going to let this happen. The people came up, and then suddenly music hit, and it was Samoa Joe's music, and then they went ballistic. And then again, Joe got the reaction of the night to me. He threw the heels around, and the fans were chanting, Joe, Joe, Joe. And he beat up Pip, and he shit-canned Nick. And then he held Pip, and Shibata was there for some reason. Shapoopy. And Shapoopy kicked him. And the heels bailed, and the people went crazy for Samoa Joe. And how long has he been gone? It was December of 23, wasn't it?
Well, he beat MJF at World's End, right? That was the beginning of the year. And then he lost the belt a few months after that. It's been almost a year.
Yeah, it's been a year. That's right. He won it in December of 23 and lost it not
the other
terribly
thing is,
long afterwards.
We just said this about Omega and Don Callis, and we said it about MJF and Adam Cole. Wasn't Samoa Joe doing something with Hook right before he left?
They were friends, yes. And the choke and the mentorship.
Right back to that. All right.
Well, they're trying to be consistent. But
they've had now multiple guys from Omega to Samoa Joe show up in the last few weeks that the best thing for their business would be them just instantly beating Jon Moxley, getting a monster pop.
Yeah.
And a restart with one of those two guys as the world champion. I'm sorry. That's the truth.
And they ain't done it. And they ain't gotten that.